Good morning, everybody. Morning. It's a beautiful, sunny, cold February morning. So we're all about to be cheered up because Michael's here off of Shearings.
From up north.
From up north, I know, and everything. We've got a northerner in the room, which is great. Just before we start talking to Michael, a couple of things to remind you about. So first of all, our Expedition and Adventure Forum is happening in Manchester on the 5th of March, so come along and join us there if you're interested in growing your business in that sector, those important sectors. And then River Cruises on the road, which is an odd thing to think about. We are in Manchester, Newcastle and Birmingham on March the 10th, 11th and 12th, and you can book for our events at cruiseexperts.org. And whilst I'm plugging things, you don't mind, do you?
No.
I'm just going to carry on. On the 19th of March at 7 p.m. we have a very special Facebook Live where we're talking about European river cruising. So if you like what Michael's going to say today about river cruise, we're going to talk about some of those European rivers and attractions and destinations that we will talk a little bit about today, I guess. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be in that London. It's very busy down here, isn't it?
It's very busy. How have you ended up at Shearings talking all things river cruise? What's your career progress been?
Long or short?
Short would be fine.
I applied for it.
25 million you applied for it.
I left school and I just did a few sort of jobs, like admin jobs, because that's what, in the old careers days, that's what I was told I was good for. Yeah. When I failed my Barcelona trial. So I did that, and then I decided I didn't like working, so I just sort of went travelling a bit, then I got a job, then I went travelling a bit, then I got a job. And when I was 30, I applied for a job at Wallace Arnold, and got that, and then then it merged in 2005, and now I am here at Shearings.
So Shearings is one of those brands that most people have heard of and know stuff about, but for those people who don't know Shearings, tell us a bit about them, because you don't just do river cruise.
No, I mean, we're Europe's largest escorted tour operator, obviously the UK's as well. We've river cruised for about 25 years,
right.
But we've always, I mean, river touring and coach holidays have kind of helped grow river cruising, because it was always a 2-day thing or a 1-day thing, and it helped sort of move that along. But we own 44 hotels in Great Britain. That people can use our coaches to go on escorted holidays or self-drive themselves, be it Scotland, the Southwest, Wales. We have a big European escorted tour programme. Everyone knows, a lot of people know the brand, even if they don't travel with it themselves, but a lot of the stuff we do is by air as well, and a lot of the river cruise stuff we do is by air, rail or coach. So it's quite a flexible brand, but ultimately escorted touring.
And does that mean you're talking to a particular type of customer?
That's changed a lot over time, as you can imagine. I mean, 1903 we started, which is when Ford started making motor cars, and Niagara froze over that year as well. So,
really? 1903?
1903, yes.
I don't remember it particularly. But
no, well, I thought you might not. But yeah, so the customer has, from the days of just going to the seaside, we've all changed everything we do, whether it's our shopping habits, holiday habits. So we've tried to evolve with that and bring in some different products and more immersive products as well, and holidays for people to enjoy. So it has changed. Customer demand has evolve or die, I believe, is the term.
That is one of them. And has the type of activity, type of holiday experience changed in that time as well? Because people are generally more active or more inquisitive, I guess.
Yeah, and bucket list is a phrase that I don't know when it first came to prominence, but it's used massively in marketing now, and experiential is used as well, where people talk about maybe not buying physical things, but buying experiences to share or to give. Yeah. So whether that's meeting an orangutan in Borneo, or whether that's going over 100 miles an hour on one of those zip liners in that Llandudno, which is something we do.
Do you?
Yeah, and we've had people over 80 book that. We did explain what it was. It does look terrifying, but exciting. So it's experiential is very, very important, and that's something that we try and look at quite a lot.
And you obviously work very closely with the trade in all of this.
Yeah, price parity. Work with pretty much every travel agent out there. They all know us. When new ones open, you know, people walk in, and if they've got the brochures racked, because the brand's well known, people will gravitate there. You know, so it's massive in the trade.
So we're going to move on to River Cruise because that's primarily why you're here. But I should point out, if you have any questions for Michael, then please use the comment box bit on Facebook. And Toby's here. Toby will share your questions with me. I should also say it's Toby's birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So if you do have any questions for Michael, then do send them in, and we'll make sure that we get time to ask them all. So River Cruise, you've said you've had a River Cruise program for a number of years. So tell us a bit about the program that you offer.
Well, ultimately, we don't own any of our own ships outright, but we have 2 ships that are 3-star standard that ply their trade on the Danube in the summer, and then on the Rhine, Moselle and Dutch Bullfields in the spring, summer, autumn and festive periods as well. But then to expand that offering, we've got a really strong partnership with the likes of Arosa River Cruises, where we typically take half the ship. So they're on their international sailings. If a customer books with us, through you obviously, they'll be assured that half the ship will be Shearings customers, and there'll be a Shearings cruise manager on there as well. We also have a big program with CLIA Europe, which again, some different destinations as well, so through Italy and France and things like that, and down the Croatian coast as well, which is slightly different. And then this year we have some Amadeus as well. So ultimately, it's a product that can really help you stretch your market out from the 3-star through to the 5-star, depending on what the customers want. If you can only ever sell 5- and 6-star all day, then that's great, fill your boots. But you know, to get that other end of the market,
fill your boots. It's a great northern expression. So let's talk about your 2 ships. You mentioned one on the Danube, one on further north, doing various itineraries. So in terms of style and in terms of what's on board,
very traditional ships. The Esmeralda, which plies on the Danube, is typically starts in Linz, ends in Linz, does the classic stuff, various different itineraries through, but the classic Bratislava, Budapest, and Vienna, the other one that I keep forgetting. Very traditional, fixed seating for dinner, very light entertainment on board, always a Shearings tour manager on board, and only English spoken because it's a full charter for Shearings Holidays. And the Virginia is I think 3 decks, but again very traditional. Really, the thing that holds these ships apart and why we still keep chartering them is that it's a great entry to river, offers great lead-in prices, and it's the atmosphere on there. People repeat because they like the atmosphere. Very informal, but you know, it's a slightly older demographic on those ships because it's more traditional than you would see on our quasi partnerships or our Arosa partnerships.
So then, in terms of what's included, because excursions, alcoholic drinks, all of those things spring to mind.
Don't they? Yeah. So it includes, the prices include travel by air, rail, or coach, depending on how people would like to get to and from the ship. We usually include 2 excursions. The reason we don't include more is A, the price would rocket. B, sometimes people just want to meander. The beauty of a river, well, I don't know why I'm telling you, but the beauty of a river cruise is that you're so close to everything all of the time that people just like to go and explore. And if they've already been to Koblenz, they don't necessarily need a tour of Koblenz again or that kind of thing. So it's a nice option. There are optionals available that they can book with agents beforehand if they want to do that. But
so they can pre-book some extra
excursions?
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. They'll get agents will get a booklet before departure, and they can book them if they want to. But otherwise, and then some of the it's often drinks with lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
But then on something like there's an autumn one on the Rhine where that is drinks inclusive from dinner through to the end of the evening.
It's normally just with lunch and dinner.
Yeah, typically because it's that traditional.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you offer coach transfers. So do you do coaches from the UK that take them down to the ship? Yeah,
there are over 300 joining points in Great Britain, and they will pick them up from local areas. So if you get on that coach from Newcastle, you won't see your bag until you're on the ship.
Oh, nice.
And then obviously we don't unpack it for you, but you leave it outside the cabin and it's taken back to the ship. There's no luggage handling, it's all done by us, and that's a network around the country.
And it's a nice no-fly option that
totally.
Certain customers like very much.
Yeah.
You didn't mention Christmas markets. Your ships don't do Christmas markets?
They do Christmas markets, Christmas and New Year, most of them. So very popular and often a really affordable way to have a river cruise, to be honest. There's some good prices. Typically slightly shorter durations, but a nice way to just see Europe at a different time of year.
I've never done it.
Have you not?
Is it good?
Yeah, it is. It's being vegan. The German ones are a bit difficult for me with the smells, but yeah, no, they are good. They are different. There's a convivial atmosphere,
Yeah, sure.
and if you wander around, you can find some smaller markets as well. Cologne's got 9, for example, that I know of.
Oh, really?
So you can wander around, and it's not just everyone thinks it's this thing where 90 coaches turn up and everyone's in the same place, and it's not. You can find some smaller ones.
Yeah, nice. So guest mix, I presume, is all British?
On our own ships, yeah. Oh well, we get the odd Australian or Canadian, but they're all right.
And then do you find that certain customers always start with certain cruises, so they kind of want to see an introduction to river cruise?
Yeah, it's going to be the Rhine or Danube, really. I mean, the Rhine, people, because you can do a shorter duration on the Rhine, or the Bulbfields, but Bulbfields tend to be people that want to do Kirchenhof, and that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's very popular. But typically the Rhine and the Moselle, because of the castles and the lower part of it, it's quite a nice thing to do.
They are amazing rivers if people have never done it before.
Yeah.
They're quite fabulous places to visit, including Vienna, one of my favourite European cities.
It is. It's very nice, and having schnitzel in St Stephen's Platz.
That's easy for you to say. So A-Rosa you also offer.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about how the A-Rosa product.
Well, the reason we started working with A-Rosa is they're wonderful ships, and when the delightful Lucia turned up in the UK saying, I've got some very nice ships, do you want to see them? We said, yes, please. And the reason that we looked at that is it's very different for us because they're international ships. We have half of the capacity on there on the dates that we travel. But for us, it's bringing in a different demographic. They've got wonderful spas on board. Yeah. They've got things like wellness, so you've got yoga, you've got various things that you can do. They've got the massage and the solariums, saunas, cycling excursions. So for us, it was because river cruising, even with other brands, it has this sort of mantra of people think it's for older people. Yeah. And as cruising was once. Yeah. So by having these ships with more facilities, it's just brought different people into, and different rivers as well, because we only really did the traditional sort of Rhine and Danube, and of course now you've got the Rhone, the Camargue, and the Douro, which just people that like river with us thought, actually I would like to go on those rivers. It just expanded our offering really. And
on board it's very relaxed.
It's on board A-Rosa is, so there's no fixed seating, so you've got free seating, sit where you want. The beauty of the fact that it's a buffet, and when I say buffet, it's show cooking buffet, so it's nice food that's constantly rotated and freshly cooked over the 3-hour period. But the beauty is, if you want to be out and about, you don't need to be back at 7 o'clock because that's when dinner is. Yeah. You can spend 3 hours in there, sat where you want, with whom you want, or you can bomb in for the last 10 minutes, wolf what you want, and then go into the bar. So you can choose what you want to do, and that's what we're finding, that people do like that flexibility.
And customer mix wise, so as you said, it's very much a European brand.
Yeah.
So lots of nationalities, different people to chat to.
Yeah, and again, for people that would prefer just an English environment, maybe they just want the one language, that's fine. But for us, again, it's a different sort of demographic and world now. They like to talk to you. We are part of Europe. Well, technically, we're always going to be part of Europe until the next ice age, anyway. Until we shift a bit further to South America. But we're always European. People like to talk to see what it's like in different parts of the world. So,
And do you find that some of your guests try your river ships and then they progress to some of the other brands that you work with, or do you find people find a brand and then stick with it and like it?
I think. Are you trying to say that some people like what they know and they know what they like, Andy?
Something like that.
Yes, some people do, because they like... The other thing about the two ships that we have is they are quite small. So the Virginia's 109 passenger capacity, nice. Whereas some of the A-Rosa ships are 180 to 200, and similar with the Quasi. So if they like that small and intimate nature, then they may stay with that. But no, we find that river also... because I know it's called river cruising, but for me, I've always felt it's a bit more river touring because you're always seeing something. There's always you're always stopping, but you're just not unpacking. So people that have been on tours have quite often gravitated across to river as well, and vice versa, obviously.
And you mentioned Quasi,
Yes.
who you also work with. So tell us a bit about their product, because again, it's different to the other two we've talked about.
It is, because Quasi, they have obviously a very proud French brand, massive cruise company. Their dining is slightly different. It's very French, really high quality food, but in a sitting, it's a fixed menu. You see it in the morning, so you can obviously look to change it. But I saw one of their refurbished ships in Amsterdam. I forget which one it was, but just lovely with the artwork and everything as well. But again, different to a Rosa, and it's a different experience to that. But we do some slightly different things with them. So if you go by coach with us and take their River cruise, you come back and you have 2 nights on Lake Garda.
Oh, wow.
So again, mixing it up slightly to give people a taste of something else on the way back, rather than just going to and fro. We can't do that by air, but unless we drop them off into the lake, which is not recommended. But
let's not go there.
But you know, so that's a different thing that we do, and obviously down in the Douro, they're quite big as well.
Yeah, and actually they do quite a lot of different rivers to even all other river cruise lines. So they do up in the Loire and various other places. And the Po is one of those rivers that we don't talk about a lot because it's quite a small number of ships on there.
But again, it's small, but it's a lovely way to. People want to tick Venice off and see Venice, so it's a great way to do that and have a river cruise and see Lake Garda if you go with us.
I've never been to Lake Garda either. Have you just travelled a lot over the last 10 years?
I didn't start working until I was 30. Did you not listen to the first one? I did listen. Yeah.
So you've been travelling, oh yeah, that's true. So then in terms of the guest mix on board of Quasi, again, it's a very much a European...
Yeah. Typically European, but again, it just offers something different. Again, we look after the coach, air or rail. That's all part. It's all on the page. It's all, and you can book it online now as well.
As a proper
we package it, So full thing. Agent just has to sign it off, take the money, and we'll deliver a great experience.
So then, in terms of the stuff that Quasi and A Rosa offer, so you mentioned bicycles on A Rosa, but again, they have full programs of excursions and they tend to be included in the fare that you pay? No, we do. Again,
typically do, depending on the length of the cruise, we'll do 1 or 2 excursions. Or if we, on a Rosa, if we go all the way to the Black Sea on the Danube and back, that's 18 days, so there'll be more excursions on that. But that's on the cruise. I mean, sometimes if obviously if you're going by coach, it's passing somewhere interesting, there'll be a chance to see that as well, which is something you can't do by air or rail.
Right. Now, one of the brochures that you have with you is solo travel.
Yes.
So is river cruise a good choice for a solo traveller?
It is, because I guess touring is, cruising is. I mean, solos are becoming more prominent, and they've always kind of been there, but now people are starting to bring out these brochures for them.
Exhibit
marketing.
A.
So, but yeah, we offer a couple of choices on our own ships, because obviously we control the rooming list on that. So they can go on the Danube or the Rhine with us and choose a single cabin or a solo cabin. Prices will be slightly different for that, but it's great because solos. I mean, I know people that some of my friends' wives actually do disappear off on their own because they're golf widows or whatever else. So they'll go with their friends. So they'll do their own thing during the day, but then it's nice to have that base to come back to and just catch up with other people. So escorted touring or small group or group travel is a nice way for people to feel as they can do their own thing, but then mix in when they want to.
And it's a really friendly kind of atmosphere on a river cruise. The one thing I like about it is that you'll arrive on the river ship on the first day and you'll see lots of people, but actually within a couple of days you know them by name or you know what they're up to. It's very friendly. So presumably for solo travellers it's a great way to meet other people, or if you want to be social or if you want to not be social, there's space to do that.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, sometimes we all need to go for a walk on our own, don't we?
We all need a bit of space occasionally. Families is one of those markets that is growing in river cruises. Is it something you've seen?
I mean, with a Rosa mainly.
Yeah.
I mean, children cruise free. The cruise element's free on a Rosa departures. I mean, cabins, available to do that. So, and they're building this new generation ship that's landing 2021 next year.
You're looking at me as if I'd remember. Soon, next year, I think.
So, which has got this exciting bubble technology, so it sort of uses electricity to get in and out of port. But and that's going to have more cabins that are suited for it, so suites that are suited for it actually. And I've seen some of the artist impressions, and they look really good. So, and I think Europeans, I mean, when you've no doubt been out in Europe on your, at dinner or whatever, Europeans have always kind of travelled with the children. Well, we do caravans and everything else, as my wife would testify all her life. But yeah, we wouldn't necessarily associate a river cruise with a children's holiday, but it depends what age they are, and getting to see some of those places like Vienna and Danube at that age, and the art and understanding what goes on in the world is a different experience to just being on a beach.
It's almost an education in itself.
Well, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about river cruising is the itineraries do change. Even if you do the Danube twice, you can see different places, so you can explore different things.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite river / destination / thing to do?
I've done the Rhine so many times on fam trips and things like that. I do like the Rhine, but I guess I do quite fancy getting down the Rhone.
Have you not been down?
No, I haven't been down the Rhone. I'd quite like to do that. Get to the Camargue, see the horses. I quite like to really do that, to be honest.
And round trip Bordeaux is also one of my favourite itineraries, because that part of France with all the chateaux and everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's coming up for Shearings? This year you've obviously, the programme is on sale. Are you selling 21 yet? And
thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
This brochure for 2021 has come out 5 months earlier than it did last year, and it's purely because people in cruise do like to get their ducks in a row, and agents are saying, what you got for 2021, always the next year. So this year they made the call at Wigan Towers, the very nice new shiny Wigan Towers, to bring it out 5 months early. So it's really good, and it just gives us the opportunity to put our mark in there as well.
So do you do, or are there plans to do longer haul river, or are you sticking to Europe?
We do a little bit of longer haul river. So I mean, we've got the Nile. We've got we do go to we go to South America. So there's a little bit on the Amazon. It's not a dedicated Amazon cruise, but as part of a wider tour, we're on the Amazon, and then we do go further east as well, down into Borneo and further east.
You mentioned the Nile because one of the things we've noticed in trends is that the Nile is coming back slowly, and interest is certainly there, but we've seen guest numbers grow over the past couple of years. Is it coming back well, or is it slow recovery
I mean, I'd say we're sort of 80+% Europe, really. That's where all our volume is. So we do, there are bookings for the Nile, but it's something that we just do for those people that have maybe done 3 or 4, you've got to have that in your portfolio to make sure they stay with you. So but no, I wouldn't say that the phones have been off the hook for the Nile.
And agents looking for more information, where should they head? Where should they go?
CLIA, the training module at CLIA.
Obviously CLIA, but if they had to come to you...
If they had to. Shearingsagent.com, or the sales support team at Shearings, our Facebook page, Shearings Trade Teams, really.
You have a Facebook page?
Really, a Facebook group. It's a closed group.
Is it? So
yes,
you have
because
to apply to join.
Yes, a bit like yours. So when because we had to do that because we had it open, and when we had these lovely incentives for agents, customers were saying, "Can I have those Love to Shop vouchers for booking this holiday?" And we had to say, "No, it's for agents." So that's why it's closed.
Okay. Listen, thank you for coming to see us.
Thank you
for talking all things River Cruise. We have more River Cruise Facebook Lives coming up. Don't forget, 19th of March, 7 p.m, an evening Facebook Live. That's always jolly.
Under the floodlights, a bit like a European night.
It is indeed. Thanks again. And we'll see you very soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Andy.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.